What is up, y'all? Welcome back. Welcome back to another live. We are doing a little bit of kind of a coverage, a little bit of a coverage, just a bit of an update type of stream here for now. But we're going to be doing a lot of coverage later on tonight for you guys. But welcome, everybody. Hope everyone is doing well. First of all, big thank you goes to Chris for the $10 super chat earlier before we got started. So, Chris, if you're still here, man, thank you so much for the love and support. It is greatly appreciated. Also, what's up, Mark? What's up, Vienna? Good to see you guys. Hope everyone's doing well. But anyways, we do got some storms going on right now. At the current moment, we do not have any severe thunderstorm warnings or anything like that, which is good. The warnings are pretty clear for now, but later on, like I said, things are really going to start to pop up here, in which we'll definitely need to look out for. Now, I am going to be doing a bit of a breakdown on what to expect here with the system, essentially, for today and everything like that. So, anyways, what's up, Sewing? Good to see ya. It's been a minute since I've seen you. Hope you're doing good. Chris says you're very welcome. Once again, thanks to you. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. But we're going to hop into models. Here's also current radar. Again, you can see that line definitely starting to kind of come together here. It's definitely looking a lot better. The line right now is rolling through the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Definitely some heavy rain, lots of lightning from the way it looks. It's coming up pretty good. However, I will tell you, they are not currently severe warned for DC, or did I say DC? Not currently warned for the Dallas area. Sewing says we got a nice gentle rain last night. It was a soaker. Yeah, you guys got a little bit of rain from this system here. Actually, there's a lot of rain in the forecast, especially out there by Arkansas. Portions of Tennessee, we're going to be getting a pretty good amount of precipitation out of the system here. But yeah, things are definitely priming up here for later on. I am going to bring up the models. Let's pull up here, we'll go back over here to the RRFS model, and we'll go ahead and pull up our precipitation here. So this is basically what we're going to be seeing here potentially in the future radar. So let me go ahead and load up my my neon radar that I like here. So anyway, so we work our way later on down in time. Now, like I said, we're going to be doing our main coverage tonight as this line of storms kind of pushes into Louisiana. According to the models here, I mean, it's going to be a pretty late event here for the most part. So the line of storms should be approaching areas out by Tyler, Texas, sometime maybe right around 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 Central. Whatever it comes to like the Houston area and Shreveport, it'll be sometime in the later evening, kind of right around 8 o'clock Eastern. Like I said, obviously give or take a couple of hours in both directions, because obviously models are not perfect with the timing. But sometime later this evening, we'll be having that main line go through areas like Houston, all the way down towards like Corpus Christi, according to the RRFS model that we do have here. The line does extend up to Shreveport area and even up into Arkansas. But once we get up into Arkansas, we start to lose a bit of the instability, and it turns more into just flat out heavy rain, mostly non-convective for the most part. So, the main storms are going to be for like eastern Texas going into Louisiana and stuff like that, which we do have a slight risk for today. We'll get into that here in a moment. But anyway, so then we continue down in time. So right around midnight tonight, the line should be mostly going through Louisiana at this point, maybe a little bit of southern Arkansas. We could still have a little bit of showers and maybe some storms behind the main line, according to this model here. Right around midnight, possibly, Dallas area, maybe getting a few more showers, which we'll look out for as well. But at that point, it really wouldn't be severe, more than likely. It'd probably just be a couple of rain showers, maybe a couple booms of thunder here and there. But, for the most part, the main line is going to be the main event. The main threat for today, obviously, is going to be damaging winds, following that tornado threat that we have, and also a bit of a hail threat here too. All hazards are on the table here for today, so we'll definitely be here to to keep you guys up to date with everything. Like I said, especially tonight, we're going to be live a lot for you guys. I obviously want to be there for you all to give you guys the coverage and stuff like that that's going to be needed, because especially at nighttime, having severe weather, it's pretty dangerous. And so I just want to make sure I'm there so I can point out areas of interest, like tornadoes or anything like that, that could happen for the night. But yeah, with that being said, like I said, the main threat today is damaging winds following that tornado and hail threat here. Let's actually hop over to, actually I'll make a new panel here. I'll go ahead and show you guys the risk here for today. So we do have ourselves a slight risk out there for today. So this is our risk. You notice 3 different shades of colors. The light green color, this is our general thunderstorm threat. Basically where we could see a couple booms of thunder. Not anything severe is expected for the light green area, so that's good. But the severe threat starts once you get into the dark green. Now the scale goes from a level 1 to a level 5. The higher the number, the more potentially severe it could be. Greater probability for severe weather as well. We have a level 1 threat here in the dark green. This is our marginal risk here for today. So this is where we could see a couple scattered severe thunderstorms, in some areas, as we're about to see, possibly some tornadic activity. And of course, we do have the level 2. Now, this is the main area for today, which it does so happen to include areas like Houston, Lake Charles, Alexandria, portions like Baton Rouge, and now even including New Orleans inside of that threat here as well. Let's see, your plants think it's spring from all the rain. Sure. What's up, Calvin? Good to see ya. JT says, thank you. Take care, everyone. You as well, my friend. And you're very welcome. Glad to help you guys. But anyway, so that's for today. Now, here's our tornado threat. We do have a pretty large 5%. Matter of fact, tomorrow, the SPC also added a 5% risk as well for portions of like northern Florida and portions of southern Georgia here as well. We do now have a 5% tomorrow. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. But yeah, we do have a 5% tornado threat for today. For the Houston area, out by Lake Charles, Alexandria, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lufkin, Texas, Bryan, Beaumont. Some of those areas are in the 5% risk. Now, what does that mean? So basically, there is a 5% chance. So say, for example, you live in Houston. So within a 25-mile radius around you, there is a 5% chance that a tornado could drop within that radius. So, I mean, if you imagine it, yeah, the odds of you getting a tornado is pretty low, but collectively as a whole, there will likely potentially be a couple of tornadoes for today, just given the area that the risk covers and the probability that it covers. The tornado risk is decent for today, so we'll possibly see maybe a couple spin-ups here overall. So definitely need to look out for that. Now, in terms of damaging winds, we do have that big 15% risk here in the yellow, 15% threat for damaging wind gusts. We could see some gusts upwards of 60, maybe as high as 70 mile per hour wind gusts. And like I say, the difference between a gust and sustained winds is that sustained winds is a constant wind of a certain number, while gusts is what the winds could peak up to for a couple of seconds. The gusts are usually higher than sustained winds. So we could see some gusts for a couple of seconds within some of these storms, perhaps reaching up to 60, maybe 70 miles per hour. So that is a possibility here for today. Now, we have a 15% chance every 25 miles across the yellow here. So eastern Texas, once again, central and southern Louisiana, as well as a bit of southern Mississippi here as well, is going to be included in that 15% risk here. Then, of course, we also have the brown area, which is at 5% chance overall, where we could see, the same thing, potential for gusts between 60 and 70 miles an hour, but just a little bit lower probability, a little bit less likely per se at a 5% chance here. And then lastly, in terms of hail, we do have a pretty decent sized little 5% hail threat for a lot of central Texas today. Bits of, the central coastal sides of Texas as well is included in this 5%, and even a little bit of extreme southwestern Oklahoma here as well is included in that as well. Let's see here. What about Waco, Texas today? So Waco is actually in the level 1 threat, I believe, for today. Yep. So you're in a marginal risk here. So that means in today's case, we do have a 2% chance for tornadoes. Overall, we have a 5% chance for damaging wind gusts, as well as a 5% chance for hail. So you're on the low side of the severe spectrum, but remember, you're still in the active risk for damaging storm potential. It's something to keep an eye out there for. It's not something to completely ignore, although your threat isn't that high. But regardless, we will be seeing this line of storms actually rolling through pretty soon. You can see on the current radar here, Waco being right there. Yeah, the line's approaching you. Now, the thing is that once this line moves through, the threat will be over. It's pretty much everything ahead of the front and on the front, in which is where the severe weather is going to be, the main concern there. let's see, extremely high winds right now. Yeah, so you're likely seeing a lot of those northerly winds coming down from the Gulf here. So from the south moving to the north, because, this is all that warm inflow that's kind of getting fed into the storm, bringing a lot of that moisture, bringing a lot of that heat, which, all of that air is rushing north to fill into the system here. So, yeah, those are your northerly winds. Now, the winds will actually change directions once the line moves through. So I'll pull up my pin here. So basically, right now you're getting a lot of these winds that are coming from the south, moving their way to the north here. But once that line passes through, you actually have the winds coming back like this. It's perpendicular. So basically you have the winds pulling north and ahead of the line, and then behind the line you have the winds that are kind of moving the opposite direction, moving mostly eastward here in this case. So anyway, so that's kind of what we're looking at there. But yeah, this is the current radar view. You can see that line extending all the way down towards Kerrville here in southern Texas, extending all the way up towards the Dallas area. It seems to be the heaviest out by the Dallas-Fort Worth area right now. Irving, Selburne, some of those areas right now kind of in the heavier stuff. Anyways, let's see here. Thank you. You're very welcome. Very, very welcome. Production says, is there rotation in I have no idea how you pronounce it. Is it Alvarado? How did I not know how to say that? Let me look here. So Alvarado's out by, Selburne area we were just looking at. Gotcha. All right, well, let's hop over here to this radar view by Selburne. You know what? I do want to keep a close eye on this area right here. Look at that. Out by, Alvarado and Venus. We might have a little bit of something trying to happen. Right now, it's pretty broad. It's not a tight couplet or anything like that. So, I don't see immediate danger with it. But I'm sure the Weather Service is watching it closely. And if they think that it'll be needed, then they'll put out a warning. But as of right now, there is not any warning in place. Right now, we're actually clean from any warning right now. Yeah, we have no active severe warnings or tornado warnings right now. So, but yeah, I definitely want to keep a close eye on that. You can kind of see it's trying to buckle here. You got the little inflow notch trying to peak there, and maybe some rear flank downdraft activity right here. We'll have to keep a close eye on that. And like I mentioned, today with the tornado threat that we do have, there's going to be that potential for a little bit of embedded tornadic activity. So basically where you could see some tornadoes, deep within the heavy precipitation, which that brings a problem. It makes it to where these curtains of rain wrap around this tornado, or not this, there is no active tornado, but wrap around a tornado if it was to occur, and which would really obscure any viewing. So don't wait to see the tornado before seeking shelter if a warning is issued today, because it's going to be a little hard in some cases because of that. Let's see here. Darren, thank you so much for the gift. Let's see, the one gift, greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for that. Let's see, yeah, I agree. I was looking at it. It's worth to keep an eye on, or worth to keep a look at for a little bit. Thanks. Yep, no problem. Very welcome. Thank you so much, Darren. Once again, really appreciate it. What's up, Scott? Hope you're doing well. But anyways, yeah, we'll definitely keep a close eye on it. But like I said, rain wrap potential is going to be a real thing for today. So some tornadoes, could be hidden in these heavy rain bands. And of course, another thing is that given that the main event is going to be going on through the night hours, that makes it a little bit concerning because another layer that you can't really see, on top of the potential rain wrap tornadic activity today, you also have nighttime, which makes it even harder to see anything. So it's really important that you just don't wait to see or hear a tornado before you seek shelter if a warning is issued today. It's very important. And like I said, we'll definitely be on here later on tonight to do some coverage for you guys. Like I said, right now we're just kind of doing a bit of a briefing, a little bit of an update on what's going on right now. A little bit of coverage here, but the main coverage tonight's going to be sometime probably right around midnight or so. I'm going to go live pretty late, covering a lot of Louisiana here overall. So we'll definitely be live here later on tonight as well. Darren says thank you, or you're welcome. Sorry. Thank you. I appreciate it. I was going to say thank you. I don't know why I said Anyways, I'm losing my mind, y'all. I've been up for a while. I'm a little bit exhausted. I probably need to get a little nap between streams here. So, but thank you. I really appreciate it. I really do. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. I'll be more than happy to help you guys. So let's actually look at the models here. I do want to do a little bit of viewing into the models. So we'll go ahead and pull up a new table here. So we'll pull up the RRFS model again. I do want to look at the fuel, the instability in the atmosphere here. So let's pull up the mixed layer cape. So this is our fuel. I mean, you can see here that we have a lot of that moisture pulling up from the Gulf, pulling up to the north here. And of course, we have that cooler air on the backside, coming in from the back. So that's going to be generating a bit of instability, because of the differences in the temperature, those lapse rates, how quickly the temperature drops off with altitude and stuff. So that's going to be generating a bit of instability here, in which, you can see we do have a decent amount of fuel available. As the system rolls eastward, you can see all that instability that's overhead. Now, we are talking values between 500 to 1,000 joules per kilogram, which it's not an absurd amount of instability, but it's enough to get the job done, especially for an event like this. It's definitely enough. Vienna says, when will I be live tonight? I'll be live probably right around midnight tonight. I'm going to do some late overnight coverage because I want to be here for a lot of the night stuff here. I mean, I might be live maybe a little bit earlier. We might go live probably around 10 or so. I'll keep... You're in my Discord, right? So if you're there, I'll make sure to put an update to let you guys know whenever we do go live. Matter of fact, if you guys are not in our Discord, feel free to join it. It should be in the description. I think I put it there. Anyways, but yeah, we'll definitely be letting you guys know whenever we do end up going live here. But yeah, let's also overlay the wind shear too. I do want to pull up our 850 millibar winds here. So let's pull up the... Let's see, we'll do our 850. Yeah, because this really is important for tornadic activity here, having that strong lower level jet. Which, I mean, for today, I mean, we're going to be having a pretty strong lower jet. This is 850 millibar height, which is about 4,000 feet aloft. In which we are going to be seeing about 30 to possibly 40, maybe even 50 knot lower level winds here. And it seems like our heaviest... our strongest lower level jet will be in place over Louisiana once that line approaches out there. That's kind of when we're going to have some of the strongest lower level shear, which, with some of the instability that we have, could be pretty decent. Here, I'm going to grab a sounding here from the RRFS model just to kind of see where essentially we stand with everything here, in which... Yeah, we do obviously have some pretty good wind shear for this event. I ain't gonna lie. You can see on our hodograph we have a little bit of a hook here, a little bit of an arch, which is very important for tornadic activity. Now, what this is telling us is that our winds are changing direction with altitude in a way where in the lower atmosphere the winds are going pretty much straight north, and a little bit higher up, a couple thousand feet, the winds change direction to the northeast. So because of that wind directional change and also an increase in wind speed, we are going to get an atmosphere in which we could see some rotation going on, which obviously a couple of tornadoes can't be ruled out. So anyways, let's see. Free Thinking coming in with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Free Thinking. That is greatly appreciated, my friend. Saying, hi, Andrew. Just wanted to know, what should I expect in the morning? I have a newborn here. Let's see, and you know how I get. Will I be going to the basement? Any tornadoes, winds, please? I got you, my friend. Thank you, first of all, for the 10. I appreciate the support, my friend. That's greatly appreciated. So, yeah, you are in the threat here. The Storm Prediction Center, they did put you in, I believe, the level 1 threat here. Let me go ahead and load up our day 1 outlook here. To day 2 outlook. So today, you're not going to have a threat. Tomorrow, you're going to have that threat. Actually, you know what? Did they update you? I swear you were in the... Hold on. That's not lining up very well. Yeah, look at that. So the wind threat here has Macon in the 5% area, yet the risk is south. I don't think that's updated here. Let me pull up the actual Storm Prediction Center's page. I think it's probably a little bug in this program here. Let me pull up the actual SPC outlook here, which I think it's just a little bit bugged. But yeah, anyways, tomorrow you are included in the level 1 threat. So that does include a 2% tornado risk, which is a pretty low probability. 5% damaging wind risk here, and the hail threat is slightly south of you. So a couple of gusty winds, an isolated tornado can't be ruled out, although if we did get tornadic activity, it would likely be weak due to lacking instability. There's not a whole lot of fuel that will be left over once the line gets over here. The wind shear will be pretty strong in the lower atmosphere, which could promote maybe an isolated brief or weak tornado. But the odds of you seeing that realistically is pretty darn low. However, I mean, yeah, definitely keep a close eye on it. We could see some gusts within the storm, possibly upwards of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts here within the storm. Let me actually bring up the models here. So the line will be kind of rolling through. We'll bring up the 12 Zulu run here. First of all, you'll probably be seeing some scattered showers and storms, but the main line will be kind of coming through for tomorrow afternoon overall. That is kind of when we're going to be seeing that. It honestly seems like it could be multiple storms, you know what I'm saying? We have the main line rolling through sometime early afternoon Sunday. It's just showing 2 o'clock p.m. for this model, following by a bunch of multi-cellular storms after it. So, yeah, the main thing I'd say is just keep a close eye out for a little bit of gusty winds. Make sure you have warnings active just for a way that you can receive them. But, yeah, little tornado threat, little wind threat. I mean, you're not in the crazy big threat or anything like that, but it's something to keep an eye out there for. Once again, thank you so much for thinking. I really appreciate it. Let's see here. Abby says, sorry I'm late, didn't get notified. You're good. Can I check on Florida zip code? All right. Yeah, let me pull you up here. Oh, it's up in Orlando. Gotcha. Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, so by the time we get to Orlando, here in Central Florida, there still is likely going to be some storms intact here. We're going to be getting ours pretty much late Sunday. It's going to be pretty much overnight hours here. I can't give you an exact time because models are a little iffy on the timing of things. But, yeah, I mean, the storm will still be going on at this point. We do have a level 1 threat, I believe, for us out here. Here, let's pull up the day 3 outlook, or day 2 outlook at this point. In which, yes, we do have a level 1 threat here for Orlando, bits of Tampa, of course, here where I'm at too, here in Lakeland. So yeah, we're going to have to keep a close eye out there for maybe a little bit of severe storm activity out here as well. I believe they have us in the 2% tornado risk here tomorrow, which, yeah, we do have a 2% tornado risk tomorrow here, a 5% wind threats, and actually we're just shy south of the hail threat here. So, yeah, just a little shot for, some gusty winds. Brief tornado can't be ruled out, or 2. Anyways, Rethinking says thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you once again for the support. I really appreciate it, my friend. Abby says thank you. You are very, very welcome. Very, very welcome. But anyway, so that's kind of what we're looking at here today, y'all. And once again, the main line's really going to come together later this evening. That's when we're going to have the full-fledged event here. One very important thing, okay? I want you guys to listen to this. And if you guys could, if you have any loose objects outside, like say on your porch or whatever, like flowers or something that could easily get blown around, bring it inside until the line passes, because you don't want that stuff going flying. First of all, you don't want to lose or damage your own property, but it also puts other places at risk as well, because last thing you want is for your flowers to go through somebody's window. Wouldn't be very good. So I'm not saying it will happen for sure, but, given some of these gusts, 60 to 70 mile an hour winds, it could absolutely blow some things around. There could be some flying debris, given some strong winds. So that's why I'd recommend, especially my folks in eastern Texas ahead of the line, especially, really the entire state of Louisiana. I wouldn't rule that out because, the entire state's going to be getting this line here. There's nobody that's not going to get this system at this point. Louisiana's going to, you can see from the northwest side, roughly 7 p.m. tonight to the southeast side, roughly 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. Definitely the whole state's going to be getting this wind bag here. That's the main thing, is going to be gusty winds. And you got to remember, I mean, not everybody is going to see 60, 70 mile an hour winds out of the line. But a lot of people will be seeing still some strong winds regardless, in which, within the severe parts of the line of the system, we'll possibly be seeing 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts out there. But anyways. But if you guys have any questions, once again, please do not hesitate to ask. We'll be more than happy to help you guys out. But yeah, so the line will be rolling through Houston area right around 9 p.m. tonight, roughly. Obviously, Dallas area is getting it right now. I do want to take a moment to hop back to radar. Here's the current radar view. You can see we do have a pretty good amount of activity going on here, with the line already. Not currently severe, though. But we definitely do have a bit of activity here. Oh my gosh! Proxy! Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you, Prox. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for the 75. Holy cow, dude. Oh my goodness, Prox. I hope you're doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you. Let's see here. Proxy said, "Hi, Andrew. Great to have you live streaming and working hard as usual. Long time no see. Hi, everyone in the NWW16 family." Proxy, I hope you're doing well. It's so good to see you. I hope you're doing it. Thank you seriously for the 75. That's really sweet of you. You did not have to do that, my friend. Oh my goodness. But I'm really happy to see you, Prox. I hope you're doing good. And thank you seriously so much for that. That's greatly appreciated. Proxy, you're amazing as always. Thank you seriously from the bottom of my heart. I really, really appreciate you. So thank you. If you guys could in chat, please give Proxy a big thank you for that. That really, really helps me out a ton. So thank you, Proxy. Seriously, greatly appreciated. Huge, huge shout out goes to you, Proxy. Once again, it's good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. If you have any questions, by the way, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you out if you have any questions. And if you want me to look at your weather or whatever, I'll be more than happy to do so. Thank you. Seriously, Prox. Greatly appreciate it. Good to see you. Country says, "Hi, Andrew. What's up? Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well." Carrot says, look to the north, likely imminent tornado. Let's pull up this here. Is this the one out by Duncanville? Yeah, that looks a little suspicious. Yeah, there's no debris signature or anything like that, so that's good. Although I can kind of see a faint little hook in there. Y'all see that? Obviously, we have heavier precipitation here in the red and orange, and then a little bit of yellow in the middle. Little inflow notch there. Yeah, that looks a little bit interesting. Here's the NROT too. You can see. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, good call on that. Definitely got to keep a close eye on that one. Also, I want to keep an eye further south too. The one that we had a little bit ago out there by Alvarado. Sorry, I keep saying Alvaro. Out by Venus. Now, it looks like it might be smoothing out a bit, but still, I want to keep an eye on that. Let's see here. Country says, "Been a minute." Yeah, it has. Hope you're doing good, my friend. Proxy says, "I'm doing great, Andrew." I'm glad to hear you're doing good, Proxy. Once again, it's so good to see you, man. I said man as in, I call everybody man, so seriously, thank you, Proxy, though. I really appreciate it. Carrot says, "How are things going, bro?" They're going all right. Hanging in there. It's, got a bit of an active day today. Oh, you know what? They actually just severe warned that storm. Let's see. Okay, so that is now severe warned for Duncanville, Hutchins, I think it is. Balch Springs, Wilmer, Lancaster, Glen Heights, and DeSoto. 60 mile per hour wind gust, Penny Hill. Did they put a tour possible on it? They didn't. They didn't even put a tornado possible on this storm here. Huh. I mean, it's definitely rotating pretty good from what it looks like. A bit of a hook there, once again, on the reflectivity you can see. Very interesting. What's up, Seahawks? Good to see ya. Let's see. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, you as well, Chris. I appreciate the support, my friend. You guys are amazing. I love y'all. I just want to make sure you guys are staying weather aware and staying safe. Like I said, we're going to do a lot of coverage tonight. like I said, we're doing a little bit of a briefing, a little bit of coverage here right now. And then, of course, the main stream will be later tonight. It'll probably be anywhere from 10 to 12 p.m. Eastern. Or I guess it'll be 12 a.m., but, 10 p.m. to 12 a.m., somewhere right around there is when I'll stream for our second time. Abby says I live on the ground floor, so thank God for that. Yeah, the tornado threat should be pretty minimal here in Florida. At least for our part of Florida. Panhandle is going to be a little bit greater of a concern. We'll have more instability, stronger wind shear, stuff like that, which will allow for a bigger threat for tornadoes up towards the Panhandle of Florida. But for us in Central Florida, yeah, the threat isn't going to be super, super high per se. See, Calvin says, I'm seeing sun in Houston. Will it make the air more unstable? The sun itself, I mean, obviously the sun's a important thing for weather in general, but will not. So you've already got the main line. So a matter of fact, your threat for severe weather is already going down because you've already passed that line here. Let's hop back to reflectivity here. I know it's kind of hard to see. There's a big mess here, but Dallas. Let's see, where is Dallas? Okay, Dallas is right here. Yeah, Dallas is getting it. Oh, you said Houston. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was thinking you said Dallas for a minute. No, Houston's still, of course, ahead of the threat here, which, yes, we do need to keep an eye on it. And the sun beating down, that diurnal heating, will definitely contribute to an unstable environment here. A lot of that warmth, though, is coming from the Gulf. A lot of that warm, moisture-filled air pulling down or pulling north from the Gulf is, going to be really important here. Yeah, I apologize. I thought you said, for some reason, my brain interpreted Dallas, even though you said Houston. I do that too often. But yeah, no, the sun, of course, absolutely will help that. And, having the sun out increases, the amount of heat that's available. But yeah, I mean, we'll definitely be seeing a lot of that moisture too, coming up from the Gulf here. I do want to bring up the current radar view again here. Let's do this real fast. We'll pull up our current radar because I'll kind of show you guys what everything looks like. So this is kind of where we're at right now, okay? So this is our main line. So if I pull up my pin here, so right now we're getting a lot of that warm and moisture-filled air pulling north here from the Gulf, right? So we have our low up north, and so all the winds all the air is flowing towards that low, pulling up a lot of that warm, moisture-filled air from the south. And actually, on the back side of the line, we're getting a little bit cooler air. Not significantly cooler, but cooler. The models were kind of suggesting about a 10-degree differential in temperature between before the line and after the line. Because of the fact that we're not seeing such a steep drop-off in the temperatures, the lapse rates are pretty low, meaning the temperatures are not dropping off as much as they could in altitude. So basically, lapse rates is how much the temperature drops off in typically 1 kilometer altitude. Lapse rates are pretty low for this event, which explains why we have low amounts of instability here. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on with this system. We have the cooler, drier air pushing in on the backside, the warmer, moisture-filled air pulling up here. And absolutely, with the sun being out and beaming, will absolutely, heat up the surface and get everything where it needs to be. Absolutely. For a severe weather event to perform well, you'd rather want the prefrontal, the warm sector, the stuff ahead of the line, in front of the line here to heat up properly. Rather than if it was overcast, then it would have a little bit more of a harder time heating up, essentially. Sewing says, let's see, have you not been doing a lot of videos over winter, or is my feed just not picking them up? I've been doing a lot of streams. I do an occasional video, and sometimes we've been doing a little bit more shorts lately as well. But there really hasn't been much winter weather other than those 2 big storms that we tracked. We covered those ones already. But yeah, I mean, ever since then, there hasn't really been a whole lot, really. I see Carrot says they need to pull tornado warnings for the whole part of the line. Another circulation forming south of the intense one. Really, here, let's pull it up real quickly. Proxy, thank you so much. Member for 41 months, dude. Wow, has it really been that long? Goodness, thank you, Proxy. That's so much appreciated. Are you talking about Glen Heights here, Carrot? Yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on this whole line here. It definitely is pretty nasty looking, especially that circulation up north. But Proxy, thank you for the Category 4 membership. Wow, for 41 months. Holy cow. Saying glad to be a proud member and support of the NW16 family. Any serious weather heading to Northeast Ohio in the next few days, Andrew? I don't think we're going to have anything big, although I was tracking a storm that could bring some snow for the Great Lakes, but I think you're too far south for that. Let me pull up the GFS model real quickly. We'll pull up the American GFS, and we'll do winter here so you can see precipitation type. Here we go. So we actually have, this system here could drive some rain for portions of the Ohio Valley, but it just skims mostly south of you, according to GFS. So that system rolls through. But honestly, I don't really see any big significant event, except for kind of mid next week. We could see maybe a little bit of rain and stuff like that. But, no really, really big storm here. Now, it's good to compare models. So that's the American GFS. We'll pull up the Euro ECMWF. Yeah, it's great to get more than one opinion here. So with this system, most of the rain stays south of you. And then, of course, the system for midweek. Yeah, Euro's a little bit more iffy on it being out there, but still could see maybe a little bit of precipitation. But yeah, that's mostly going to be an event for like the upper Great Lakes here, like upper state Michigan, even the northern plains, possibly seeing a bit of snow out of the system here. So we'll cover that. But yeah, honestly, Proxy, I don't see anything big coming up anytime soon. Although I do want to look at the winds because the system existing, there could be a pretty big change in pressure. Speaking of pressure, we'll go ahead and overlay that as well. Here, we'll do this here. We'll make those a little bit bigger here. But yeah, let's overlay the max accumulated wind gusts here, so we can kind of see what we'll be dealing with the system. So obviously we have the system going through now. This low is pretty far south. See, there's our max accumulated wind gusts here, which, yeah. Okay, you could get some pretty gusty winds here. That's exactly what I was suspecting, is sometime maybe mid next week, we could get some pretty strong wind gusts out there. Maybe 30, maybe 40 mile per hour wind gusts potentially. This is what the Euro suggests. While the GFS, let's see, the GFS kind of agrees as well with a bit of strong winds here pushing through kind of mid next week, so probably right around Wednesday or so. But anyways, hopefully that helps, Prox. If there's anything specifically you want me to look at, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help. Once again, thanks for your support, Prox. I really, really appreciate you so much. Let's see here. Rochi says, hey Andrew, side topic related to weather. Do I think there'll be any geomagnetic storms? I heard the sun has a big coronal hole that's facing Earth. Whether or not will impact Earth. I'm not as big into space weather as I am, obviously Earth weather. But from what I remember, from what I've learned about that is, the sun's dark spots, I'm pretty sure are really important for geomagnetic activity. I'm not the right guy to ask for that. I'm not even going to lie with you. Honestly, I don't know. I really don't know about space weather as much as I do, obviously meteorology. But good question though. Good question. But I mean, if something happens, we'll likely cover it if it's space weather related too. We've done that before. All right, y'all. Let's hop back over to the main radar here. So we do have that one severe thunderstorm warning once again in effect here east of Dallas. Let's see here. Or hold on a minute. It's so hard to see the town names. There's so many names all over the place. Let's see, where is Dallas? Oh, Dallas is right here. Okay, so south of Dallas here, including bits of southern Dallas. We do have Duncanville, Hutchins, let's see, Balch Springs, Wilmer, Lancaster, DeSoto, and Glen Heights here. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail. But we also really got to look out for that circulation, though, over by Hutchins. I really, really want to keep an eye on that. Nothing on CC, though, which is good. Don't see any, any debris signatures or anything like that, which is really good. But we got a lot of lightning activity, though. Look at all these little lightning markers. It's definitely quite electric out here, you know? But yeah, we do have that one warning there, which we'll obviously keep an eye on. Yeah, this whole line's starting to look a little suspicious, I ain't gonna lie, in some spots. Yeah, especially the one up by Hutchins, which still keeping a close eye on that one. Anyways, all right, let's hop back over here to the main radar. So you can see, I mean, the line's definitely coming together pretty good. I do want to play the last, 4 hours of the radar here. We'll go ahead and play that so y'all can kind of see where everything's at here. So, at the current point of where we're at, we do have a little bit of multicellular storms out there kind of just west of Houston. As you can see, I mean, at this point in time, the sun's obviously out, which is, heating up the surface and stuff here. Let's actually pull up the satellite overlay as well. I'm actually going to bring up both the sat view and that as well. Let's see. We'll pull up, I guess we'll do true color here. Yeah, it seems like there's actually a bit of cloud cover over the area, especially by Houston. It looks like it's pretty thick. But it definitely kind of thins out right up between Austin and Houston. We have a little bit of thinning here, it looks like. Yeah, but if we can get that sun to peek through, it'll do good in heating up the atmosphere, because clouds act as a really good insulator for trapping heat and cold air and preventing it from heating up and stuff as well. So obviously having the more sun would be more beneficial for the event. Here, I'll overlay the radar too so you can see where everything's at. Let's see, Mothman says, how about fire weather threat for Amarillo on Tuesday, Thursday? I mean, I'll pull it up quickly. Let's see, we do have a critical threat on, let's see here. Fire outlook here. We do have that threat. Day 5, we have a threat for northern Texas, it looks like. Here we go. Yeah, elevated threat here for tomorrow. Today we have a little elevated threat down and right on the border between Mexico and Texas here today, tomorrow. Yeah, Nebraska, bits of Wyoming, Colorado, South Dakota. But yeah, day 5 we have threat for the northern part of Texas there. Anyways. Carrot says it's in such a popular area, it's making me anxious, especially without even tornado possible. Yeah. I mean, it looks like now. It looks like it might be, waning down a little bit. Hopefully, it doesn't look as aggressive as it did a minute ago. But yeah, I mean, once again, we did not see any debris signatures or anything either, which is good, obviously. But I don't know what I did there. I accidentally hit something. But yeah, we'll definitely keep a close eye on it. Let's see. Your Proxy says, "Thanks, Andrew. You're very welcome." So I was more worried about ice rather than snow or rain. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I'll let you know if anything changes. Of course, if I do see in other streams, I'll be sure to keep you up to date. But I really don't. I don't think we'll see much of ice or anything like that. At least from what guidance suggests now, Anyways, but thank you once again, Proxy, for all the love and support. I appreciate it, my friend. And once again, if you have any more questions, do not hesitate to ask. I'll be more than happy to help. Goes for all of you guys too. I'm here to help everybody here. Just making sure y'all are staying safe, staying weather aware. very, very important to me that you guys are just staying up to date, you know? Mothman says the damaging winds are wicked. Are they? Yeah, it's here. I'm actually gonna overlay here, let's overlay the winds here. I'm gonna make a new view. We'll go ahead and get rid of the model data here. I keep drawing by accident. Whoops. But yeah, let me pull up the current RTMA analysis. We'll pull up 10-meter wind speeds. What's up, Choking? Good to see you. Saying hello from Denton, Texas. Rainy day and thunder. We need it. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, we need it here as well in Florida. So I'm happy we're supposed to get some as well out of this system. But good to see you, Chogan. Hope you're doing well. Here, let's pull up our radar on top of it too. Why not? That way we'll have both. So you can see in relation to where the winds are. You know what I'm saying? Here, let's pull up my neon radar. I like my color table I made. There we go. So here, I'll make the barbs a little bit bigger. I know they're kind of hard to see. But, you know, ahead of the line, it looks like we have about 20 knot sustained winds, which that's pretty decent, about 25 miles an hour or so. Definitely pretty solid. We'll increase the barb size a bit so you can see them maybe a little bit better. There we go. Should be able to make out those wind barbs pretty good now. Here, I'll even put in the wind gust too. RTMA analysis, we'll do wind gusts, and I'll do point for that. So the number value that you're going to see is going to be the wind gusts. Increase the size. We'll make them bold and increase the stroke width here so you can see them a little bit better. There we go. So that's kind of where we stand, although it's kind of hard to see the town names now. Here's Austin, Texas, you can see. So, I mean, yeah, we're likely seeing a good 15 to 20 knot sustained winds, you know, ahead of the line here. You can kind of see where the Texas coast is. Houston right here. Maybe those barbs are a little bit too thick. Here, I'm gonna make them a little bit less thick, I guess, because they're a little bit too big, I think. There we go. That helps out actually a lot. But yeah, we're seeing some gusts right now ahead of the line here, right around 20, maybe 30-ish miles an hour. So it checks out. You know, checks out for being a little bit gusty out there. See, Carrot says, if the line's already this spanny, how bad will it be later? Yeah, that's what I'm a little bit concerned about. Because, you know, later on, we're going to have, I believe, more instability and definitely stronger wind shear, especially our lower level kinematics. They're going to be pretty strong later tonight. Like I said, right now we have, I believe, here, I'll pull up meso analysis, actually. I think now we have about, was it like 30 knot lower level wind shear? Well, we will figure that out right now. Let's go ahead and load the lower panel. Yeah, so our low right now, you can see, is right over northern Texas and southwest Oklahoma. That's where our central low is at the moment. 850 millibar wind. So actually, no, we're about 35 knots. Yeah, about 35, 40 knot lower level jet, right where that line is now. Which, pretty good. Yeah, explains all the squigglies. All the little bits of rotation we have. Let's look at our mid-level shear, though. We'll do 750. Yeah, so there's definitely some veering going on there, some veering winds here. Let's pull up my pen so I can draw. I might need to restart the program, the pen, because it likes to goof up every once in a while. Oh, it actually worked. That's a first, man. It always messes up. So 700 millibar winds are moving in that direction. So that's higher than the winds we're about to look at. Yeah, the lower level winds are moving like this. So you can obviously see there's a bit of a change in wind direction there. And because of that wind directional change and, you know, the increased wind shear, you know, the stronger winds throughout the atmosphere, that could definitely allow for some rotation. Instability right now seems to be I mean, it's not that high, actually. It's mostly a sub 1,000 MLK, which that's... I mean, obviously, for this time of the year, it's typical, but generally speaking, 1,000 joules per kilogram is not a whole lot of instability. It's enough to get the job done, you know? It is. But it's definitely nothing excessive. Yeah, the southern tail is about 700-800 MLK. The middle line has about 700-800 as well. Yeah, up north it really starts to drop off a bit, though. Yeah, the further north you do go. Interesting. But yeah, lower level shear is not too bad. Not too bad. About 35, maybe 40 knots. Anyways. So here's your current radar satellite overlay. Like I said, we have a lot of clouds in the area in the warm sector of the storm here. You know, obviously we do have quite a little bit of a clearing here between Austin and Houston. A little bit of clearing, which, you know, the sun's rays are able to pierce through and heat up the surface a bit. You know, obviously the more clear areas, of course. But it's definitely a little bit cloudy, for sure. Yeah, Kara, we'll keep a close eye on it. I'll hop back over to that radar in a second. Cheyenne says, I keep hearing Ohio is going to get some bad storms on Wednesday due to the temperature fluctuations. I'm not a meteorologist, but for some farmers, how true could this be? So are you talking like thunderstorm potential? Here, let's pull up instability. I want to see. I did see that system that's going to be rolling through the Ohio Valley, but I don't think I think you're too high latitude right now for storms. I mean, for the system that's supposed to be coming through. Let me pull up instability here. We'll pull up most unstable Cape. There's a little bit of instability. So this is most unstable air for Wednesday. Huh. Here, let's pull up those dew points. I'm curious to see the dew point values out here at the same time. Yeah, our dew points are pretty low, in the 50s. Interesting. What about our wind shear? We'll pull up our upper air. We'll do 850 millibar height. How about that? Yeah, we have about 45, 50 knot lower level jet there. Interesting. Here, let's grab a sounding out there. I'm really kind of curious, just to kind of see what we're looking like. So let's pull up a sounding here in Indiana. Remember, this is one model too, by the way. We'll have to compare this with other models as well. Wow, those are some steep lapse rates. Holy cow. I mean, that's pretty that's pretty steep. There is some instability available. Not a whole lot of moisture though. Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty darn dry in the sounding. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. This is the GFS here. Let's pull up Euro. I mean, Euro also shows. I'm not going to grab a cherry pick sounding, but I'm going to grab one West Ohio. This is for 1 p.m. on Wednesday. Yeah, kind of the same thing. PWatt is pretty low. I mean, we're at 0.6 inches. Fairly low. I mean, there's not a whole lot of moisture in the atmosphere, especially our mid-upper levels. Very, very dry. Dew points in the lower 50s. There is fuel though. Yeah. I mean, it's not the best environment, but I mean, there's something. we could see some storms. I'll have to see about severe weather. I mean, obviously, I want to see a little bit more in the models and stuff like that before we, um, before we really make assumptions with that event. But it's definitely interesting. Something we'll definitely keep an eye out there for. It is potentially possible. All right, so let's hop back over here to this radar here. Carson says, "Love the channel, appreciate it." Saying, "I'm so ready for that storm season." Yeah, me too, dude. Me as well. I cannot wait for storms. I live in Central Florida, so we get like our daily storms, like late spring usually, late spring through summer. We usually get like literally daily thunderstorms. I miss that. It's been so dry in Florida, so dry. We're under like the entire state's under a like drought right now. It's pretty crazy. Anyways, I do got some good news, y'all. The severe thunderstorm warning is now canceled for Wilmer and Hutchins. We are currently back to no warnings. Quick little velocity scan. That's interesting. We'll keep an eye out there for those areas. I mean, nothing significant, no imminent tornado danger I'm seeing right now. But remember, I mean, the threat's still there. Stuff can kick off pretty quickly. For our folks in Fort Worth area, I got good news for you. The severe weather event's mostly over at this point. Once the main line pushes through, that's when the threat pretty much kind of ends. It's really everybody ahead of the line, and obviously on the lines where the main threat is right now. Let's see. You're from Kansas City. Hoping we get a lot of severe this year. Well, I hope you don't get too much severe, no damage or anything like that, but I hope you get good storms, though. Gosh, that scared the heck out of me. My alarm went off for 2 o'clock. Yeah, there's actually a basketball game at 3. We got Florida playing UK. I'm kind of wanting to watch that. I'll probably watch a little bit of that. Like I said, this stream is more of a update stream, a little bit of coverage. Obviously, we've been live about an hour at this point. But at 3 o'clock, I am going to go watch the game for a little bit. But then, like I said, we'll be back later tonight. Between 10 p.m. to 12 a.m., we'll be back for night coverage. I really want to cover the nighttime, with that nocturnal threat and stuff. But yeah, we do have Florida and UK playing basketball today, so I wanted to definitely keep an eye. Definitely want to watch that game. All right, let's hop back here. So, like I said, here's current radar satellite view. Very cloudy in the warm sector for the most part. I mean, there is some spots that we talked about, a little bit of clearing. Like I said, any little sunlight we can get can really heat up the surface. But the line's doing pretty good. Line's going through Waco now. Obviously, it's already passed through Fort Worth. It's going kind of exiting Dallas too. Should start slowing down for you guys. But yeah, Houston still ahead of the event here. We do have some a little bit of multicellular storms. My pen decided it wanted to give out on me there. A little bit of multicellular storms out just slightly west of Houston right now. These guys are not currently a hazard, but we'll keep an eye on them. And of course, we have a pretty good amount of rain through Missouri and Arkansas here as well. Here, let me overlay the pressure here. We'll load this up. Yeah, so you can see where that low is. That central low is right here, between like north central Texas and southwest Oklahoma. Like this is where our central low is. Yeah, and of course, this whole low is going to be strengthening as time goes on, and it's basically just moving straight eastward. Like I mentioned, if this low is going more northeast, I feel like it would draw up more warmer air. Would cause more areas to have severe weather, but thankfully, since the system is mostly shallow to the south, most of the threat's going to remain pretty much for a lot of the southern states here. Carrot says we might have had a brief weak tornado in north of Palmer, Texas, along with that line, based off a correlation coefficient and velocity. Which one is it? You said by Palmer? There's so many so many town names here, man. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's why it's messed up here. All right. Where is Palmer at? Here, let me pull up Palmer on here so I can see Palmer, Texas. Here we go. Oh, Palmer's just slightly south of Dallas. Whoops. Why do I keep bringing up two panels? Oh, there's Palmer right there. Okay. Do you think that right there? I think that's just contamination. Unless you're talking about south, like over here. But then I don't see anything on CC. I'm not seeing anything. South of Houston? Is there two Palmers? There can't be, right? Here, let's pull up Houston's radar. Do you mean south of Dallas? You said south of Houston. That was the Palmer. Okay, I was going to say, I don't think there's two Palmers in Texas. I was getting a little confused there. Okay, yeah, so it's the one south of Dallas. Yeah, except for you, it looks a little different. That's weird. Ryan says we had some 1-inch hail pop up in Kansas yesterday out of nowhere. Typical Kansas. Yeah, Kansas. Yeah, y'all can get some pretty crazy weather in Kansas. Kansas is like right in the mixing zone, between the cold continental air and then the moisture from the south. You guys can usually get into some pretty nasty stuff, especially for the main spring months, Absolutely. Gosh, I love this program. It's just so juicy, Such a good program. Which, by the way, if you guys do want to check out Aguacero, we do have it in the bottom right. It's actually a sponsor. If you guys want to get 20% off your first month, use code NWW20. AguaceroWX.com. See, we had some snow and tornadoes the same day. Wait, when? When was that, Ryan? Yeah, sometimes that can happen, though. It can, believe it or not, because with strong events like, not this one, obviously, not this event, but there has been events in the past where you have like a severe weather threat and you're in the warm sector, you get the storms, and then the cold air swings in from the backside, cools everything down, and sometimes enough to where it allows for snow. Which, yeah, I mean, some I have seen events like that's happened. It's pretty pretty interesting. That's for sure. Anyways, But like I said, right now, y'all, we're just kind of sitting with no active warnings. We're kind of chilling. I think probably for now, I think we're probably going to conclude the stream. Like I said, I want to do a little bit of coverage here, a little bit of an update, kind of just showing you everybody what's going on with it. I will be live tonight once again. I'll be live anywhere from 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. tonight, just so I can help you guys with the night coverage. We'll be here for that. But like I said, right now, there's no active warnings, so I think now is probably a pretty good stopping spot, just so I can head off and catch the game for one. Plus, I got to do a few things around here. But yeah, we'll be back later tonight, though. Just be sure to set up your reminders. Obviously, if you have a alarm or whatever, just we'll be live anywhere between 10 p.m. and 12 a.m. So to keep an eye, turn on those notifications. That way you can get notified. Also, join our Discord if you have not. The Discord should be in the description, so you guys can check it out. Yeah, it's in the description here. So you guys can just check on the description, join our Discord. I'll be sure to ping everybody that will be live. That way you guys can be up to date and know when exactly I'm going live here. Okay, but anyways, if you guys have any final questions before we conclude the first part of coverage, let us know. But yeah, I'll also do some coverage tomorrow too. I'm excited to say this. I might even do one of those streams that we did last year, those storm spotting streams. I'm going to have to find my camera and set it up. I know it's weird. I said find my camera. I put it in one of my boxes whenever I moved my rooms around because of the leak that I had a long time ago. I still have to get it out of my boxes. So I'm going to have to find the camera, but I'll be sure to probably do a storm spotting stream with you guys. I think that'd be pretty cool. Anyways, Carrot says, all right, see ya. Hope you have a good day. You too, Carrot. Thanks for joining, my friend. Appreciate it. And once again, everybody, if y'all have any final questions or anything like that, let me know. Go ahead and throw it down in the chat. Before I roll off here, I do want to give a big thank you to our supporters here. So a huge shout out goes to Chris as well as Darren for the gifted membership. So Chris, thanks for the super chat. Darren, thank you for the gifted membership. Free Thinking, thank you for the super chat. Proxy, thank you for the super chat and the membership. I appreciate you guys very, very much. Thank you all so much for the kind love and support. We love you guys. And if you guys could, be sure to leave a like on your way out. Maybe hit that subscribe button if you're new. It'll be greatly appreciated. And alrighty, everybody. Thank you all for stopping by. And we'll see you guys here later on tonight. You guys take care. Be safe. And we'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace out, my friends. See ya later on.